we're not in talks with Donnarumma. Like, we're just not. It's a possibility, but it's not a reality. And it's like Belieber before we actually held the talks. I mean, it'd be a great signing for Man United, and we do need a midfielder. But until David Ornstein said that we were holding talks with his representatives, then we're not in talks with Belieber, and we're not in talks with Donnarumma. And yet over the weekend, you've got people who are apparently in the know saying to people, we're in talks. Talks have begun with Donnarumma, and they actually haven't. We've not held any talks with Donnarumma as of 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Now, it's only yesterday that PSG have left him out, but we're not talking to him because we can't talk to him because we're about to offload a huge amount of money on Belieber, and Donnarumma is a huge amount of money. We approached Villa to loan Emi Martinez. For whatever reason, we don't have a budget for a goalkeeper, and it probably is everything to do with that update that Laurie Whitwell has put out, that Man United sadly cannot get a goalkeeper while Andre Onana is here, and he won't go. And that really is quite concerning, and maybe it puts a pin in my theory that we're waiting towards the end of the window to do something like an Emi Martinez or a Donnarumma. But right here, right now, we're not doing anything with the goalkeeper because we've still got Binder and Onana, and that's what we're going to go into the season with, which is, you know, it's very, very disappointing. I still believe we will buy a goalkeeper because I cannot believe that we will go into the season with Onana and Binder. I mean, I think that's a massive, massive mistake on the part of the board, Ruben Amorim, Jason Wilcox, and Favell. I think that's a huge, huge error. You know, it's like building a Formula One car to win the Monaco Grand Prix and then not buying any fuel. You're not going anywhere. Doesn't matter how good your driver is, doesn't matter how good your engine is, doesn't matter how good your bloody aerodynamics are, doesn't matter how fast the car is, if it doesn't have any fuel in it, it won't win the race. And you know, I'm not going to panic about it because I've said to you many times, Man United will sign a goalkeeper. And it's a new world. It is a new world because normally I would panic, but I'm not going to panic because whilst I respect the update from Laurie Whitwell, and I think it's the one that certainly has been fed out from the club for a long time, and certainly Laurie Whitwell would be one of those people that would be fed by the club. The club's stance clearly is that we're not buying a goalkeeper while Andre Onana is here. However, we've also known since March that Amorim wants to replace Onana, and so does other people as well. So I think that we will see a goalkeeper come in. Unfortunately, we may need to prepare for the fact that it won't be a Donnarumma, it won't be an Emi Martinez, because it will be a replacement for Binder that maybe is Lamens to push out Onana in the longer term. We will bring a goalkeeper in though, because it would be akin to footballing jumping off a cliff. Really, you can't not do anything about it. But look, JR says maybe we could loan Donnarumma with an option to buy. I'm not going to sit here and say we're not going to get Donnarumma. I think the important thing to remember is that in a transfer window, when you look at June, we weren't in for Belieber. When you look at June, we weren't in for Sesko. We were still flirting around the prospect of a Gyökeres or an Osman. So Donnarumma, right here, right now, we're not doing anything about it. Doesn't mean in tomorrow we won't, doesn't mean that next week we won't, but when people put it out there that we're in talks with players and we're not, that's when it causes issues because you end up getting the backlash. Donnarumma's not available for Manchester United at the moment with the goalkeeping situation that we have. And look, before we move on, what I will say about Onana is they want him gone, they want to replace him, they know he's not all that. For some reason, he has power at the football club. And the only power he's got is, I want to stay. Now, it's different to somebody like a Casemiro or a Rasmus because Amorim has other options. He can bench Rasmus, he can bench Casemiro, and he can say, look, you can hang around if you want, but I'm not going to give you that many minutes. But with Onana, he has to pick him. So Onana is in a completely exclusive position where, unfortunately, United are not willing to spend on a goalkeeper whilst Onana is here. Now, I think they need to change that because as we've seen with Garnacho and Rashford and Sancho, when you put pressure on these players, they have to go. And I think they will. I think they will. Seriously, I do. Somebody, Dara just said, Romano literally just said we are in for Donnarumma. Well, look, mate, as I said, things can change. I'm reacting to what the story is, but we're definitely not in transfer talks with Donnarumma at the moment. And it's literally just dropped from an article with David Ornstein that, and I'll read it back to you again. United's stance on goalkeepers is that a signing can only happen if Onana departs. A move for Donnarumma is not expected to materialise. So believe what you want. Romano is very good. And if Romano has said that, maybe he knows something. But also, Romano is very close and has always been very close to the agency that was formerly Mino Raiola's. So look, remember, some people say that sometimes some of these journalists do agents bidding. And Man United being in for Donnarumma is never a bad thing, is it? We're not in for Donnarumma, according to that article that David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell wrote. If Fabrizio says we are, you've got to choose one. I would say, if I'm Donnarumma and I'm his agent, I'm saying Man United are in for me because it helps your brand. It helps, your exposure. I've always felt we won't get Donnarumma. As much as I think he's an amazing goalkeeper, I've always felt that we won't do that. I feel like that's a bit too much of a dream. It'd be stunning, as I said. But look, let's see how it pans out. But ultimately, if Onana had been sold, then we would probably be in a much better situation. But as things stand at the moment, highly unlikely to happen. Well, I wouldn't say highly unlikely, but not expected to materialise.